right? What are they again? You're gonna have to really embed this in your life stream, which means in your blood, so that it moves, okay? Four preliminaries, what are they? First is what? The preciousness of human life, rebirth. You're gonna have to always reflect on this on day-to-day life. You wake up in the morning and you say, wow, I'm alive again. Yeah, this is very precious. You know, have you seen someone who is grasping and dying to live? You want to help them as much as you can so they can live even without a limb. You know. All right, what's the second one? The law of impermanence. Very close, Helen, don't worry. Very good. The law of impermanence. If you see everything every day, and you say, oh, I love this pen so much, but it's impermanent, I can let it go. Yeah? You're attracted to something, you say, wow, this is delicious, but it's impermanent. So it's okay, I can enjoy a moment. Yeah? You hate something or dislike, you say, I know this is also impermanent, so it will pass. Let them all do what is needed. You're having a hard time because of bankruptcy, you say, this is impermanence. Because what I've... it will also go. You know, even when you're in pain, you say, oh, I broke my hip. Yeah? And you say, oh my goodness, this pain is so painful right now, but watch it. It is impermanent, it will change until you're okay again. See? What's the third one, Helen? Oh, you forgot?
That's the law of causes and effects. I forgot.
The law of karma. The law of causes and effect. You understand karma, right?
Yes.
Okay, it is basically, karma means causes and effect. Yeah? When you are in bankruptcy, okay, because you understood the law of karma, you said, I've had this bankruptcy because what? It is the effect of what I have caused. So then therefore, you go through it. Do everything, because then you say, I'm going to make a cause to have this bankruptcy end, and it will never happen again. That's it. No big deal. Yeah? You have to go through that. Yeah? And so when you win a lotto, about 24 million, and you said, because of law, causes and law of karma, the causes and effect, I have gained this winning fortune because I have in the past have done many good things. But you said, know that it's also impermanent. They come and go. All right? But no big deal. Yeah? And what's the last one? No.
Knowing the paths to liberation.
I'm mixing up the Four Noble Truth. but Four Noble Truth is there, okay? It's embedded there. Yeah? The suffering of samsara is basically unescapable. When we take rebirth, we are thrown into the realms, okay? And this is samsara. And the only way to get out of samsara is full enlightenment. Okay. So, from here, and this is what I'm just trying to let everybody understand now, that because of these fundamentals, the truth, okay, that is embedded with these four foundations of the Buddha Dharma, you say, well, how am I going to liberate myself so that I'm not going to repeat this again and again? And that is, as it says, you practice the highest capacity. And that is what? The Mahayana practice of practicing bodhicitta. Okay? Because the reason why we cycle in and out and out and in of samsara is what? Because of true self-grasping. We only think of the self. And from that very, very selfishness, okay, we commit all negative actions. So then if you commit all these negative actions, what happens? Your karma will be endless. Your negative karma endless, to the point that you cycle and cycle, you cannot even get out. You go again to lower realm, And how long are you going to stay there? We don't know, because we have this endless capacity of self-grasping. So then you say, all right, well, I understand this now. How are we going to cut this self-grasping? The Buddha said, once you realize that there is self, that is good enough ignorance to let's cut it, right? The root of ignorance is self-grasping. So now, you're no longer ignorant, right? Because there is a problem with the self. It will not, if you think too much of yourself, of the self that actually does not exist. Okay. And we will expound more of emptiness later. I think we had a lesson on a Wednesday, right? We talk about emptiness, about the self-existing, inherently existing self, right? Okay. That's just like an icing. It's not the cake yet. But good job on really understanding that, right? So the thing now is, how can we dissolve selfishness? How can we dissolve self-grasping? It is only bodhicitta that would crush this. So now, this is exactly our practice is all about. Is little by little, we have to get accustomed, meaning not only in the mind, not only in our mouth, okay, but the action of the body that will deliver the essence of bodhicitta. Does it make sense? Now how? You need to know the philosophy of this, of why self-grasping, okay? Why bodhicitta is the antidote to self-grasping. Anyone?
Because bodhicitta is about doing things for other people.
Yeah.
Without expecting anything in return. So it's not thinking about the self.
Yes. That's right. Because once you serve others,
Yes.
without, like in return, okay? Because sometimes we serve others because I'm doing this to you so that you can do this back to me. I'm talking more profound than that, okay? But we are service to others. And once you genuinely provide service and love and care for others, you forget about this self-existing, Have you ever seen those mothers who have these 2 children or 3 kids running around, and mama is always very busy and she does not even look in the mirror because she has no time? Yeah, but the child always looks at the mother so beautifully, like, Mama, you are the most beautiful woman or girl. Because what is the child seeing there? It's not about, the look, the appearance of the mother. No, it is the genuine love that he's feeling. And you see this through your pet. Your dog and your cat. Do you think the dog, the cat knows whether you're beautiful or, in appearance? No. But the dog actually does not care about that. It's about how genuine your love to the dog and how you care for him. Yeah? See, even animals has the capacity to genuinely measure your truthfulness to them. And so the dog even growls at someone's like, okay, I don't trust you. But if you know you're genuine to the dog, they feel that. Yeah? This is the measurement.
So I saw you the way you treated the dog the other time.
Oh.
Yeah, the way you sort of cradled his head and he followed you and you don't even know the dog, right? Because he knows that you care for him.
Yeah. Apparently he kind of liked the massage on his paw.
Exactly.
I just guessed, okay, because he was so sweet, and I appreciated his sweetness.
I tried that on my cat, but my cat scratched me.
Well, Helen, don't get close to a claw, okay?
Too many scratches.
Yeah.
Different.
So, see, this is what I'm saying. Now, did I get worried about the dog's hair on my robe? No. Definitely not. A little bit. But you know why? He's happy. So who cares about this? I can always wash it. That I made him happy. And he receives a little bit of mantra. Yeah? So just like that. No? But so how are we gonna then generate this? Because from now on, this is because we are talking about the practices of greater capacity. This is the ways of the Bodhisattva. This is different shades from an Arhat to Bodhisattvas. Now, do you guys have any questions about that? Because once somebody asks you about that, you make sure you know what to answer, right? Because then, what is this studying all about if you're not so sure of your understanding? Yeah? So there are titles, Mr. and Mrs., Miss and Mist. We have a title, right? There are Shravakas and the Pratyeka Buddhas. They are the Arhats and the Bodhisattvas. The Mahasattva, Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, Siddhigarbha, Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, Samantabhadra. You know, all of these are the Indian names, of course, the Sanskrit names, okay? And Shakyamuni, okay? So, these are, because why they have different titles is because of their activities. So once you enter the great gate of the Mahayana, you are then therefore have to subject to be a bodhisattva. So this is the line here, like we're all like lined up, and you say, okay, I'm going to enter, this is the gate now. This is the true meaning of Mahayana here. It's like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I have this bodhicitta. I'm going to have to work this out. It's like, I only have bodhicitta like once a year, like on December. Right on January, it's gone.
I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, in the sense that my thinking, if you want to practice without unconditional, is to everyone, not your family, not your husband, not your children, but it's to everyone.
Yes, that's
Where
why.
that is concerned, there is also a limitation in time, in effort.
Well, Bodhisattva does not think of time. So again, that's right. It is not as easy as that, but I'm just, this is like easing you, okay?
Starting somewhere.
Yeah, because like a little child, you cannot eat rice immediately, like a baby. You have to grow teeth,
Yes.
yeah, so you can chew, right? Not only chewing, some child when they're growing, they're just chewing and they're throwing it out. It's like, you need to swallow it. But you cannot teach someone how to swallow. They have to naturally begin to learn how to swallow. Have you seen a child actually showed them the first beginning of a straw? Huh? A straw. You straw. How has anyone actually taught you how to use a straw? And you just like, does it come with instruction? Procedure, like put the tip of this thing upright. Does it come? Or toothpick? Do they come with instructions and manual? Because it's natural, right? They especially the chewing and swallowing. How come they won't say you don't chew a soup? What I'm saying here is that there are points that when you're ready, it naturally comes. But without proper, investigating what needs to be what needs to be developed, is very critical in bodhicitta. Because if you do not understand how this works, then you probably don't even know that you're doing it incorrectly. So, how do you know your swallowing is perfect?
Not choking.
Yeah, not choking.
You're not choking, right? And it's smooth, right? And no one's rushing you, right? No one will tell you, okay, 1, 2, 3, let's swallow. Like anytime you swallow. When is it, it becomes natural. When you have food, you know even how many times you need to chew and then swallow. Everyone has different swallowing capacity and chewing capacity. And it's exactly what Buddha Dharma is. I may give you all these things, but every one of you swallow or chew forever, not even swallow. Okay? So we're gonna have to, like, I'll try to have you, understand how it works, because in most cases when you study the teachings of the Buddha, it is so complicated you don't even know which book to start. And you say, which page? And then you go to the page, is there anything before this? And you say, oh, there's another book. And then you read, anything before this? And you go to another book. And then all of a sudden you have, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to read all of this and I haven't really, But this is it, okay? This is why there is what they call the stages of the path. And this is what the Tibetan Buddhism is different. How it's how it actually presents the learning and the practices. All of this towards bodhicitta. Okay? So we're very lucky to even come across. So you don't need to what? To go like, which book? Okay, it's not in English, it's all in Chinese. Or, or the other way around, which is Pali or Sanskrit, But there are masters that have just collectively lead us to the path of the stages. So here it comes now. But the question is, how can we then chew this every day? If one gives a big chunk of a meat, okay, or a big chunk of a tofu meat, whichever form you want it, okay, you have to bite, right? The question is, how are you going to start chewing that? And this is bodhicitta, is profound, because first of all, remember, we talk about the first practice is how can we develop the uneven-mindedness, the practice of equanimity.
Meditation.
Exactly. The practice of the 3 higher trainings are important. So there's no escape, okay? There's no other means to do this but in meditation or to contemplate. All right, so because our life is not a monastic life, okay? You're not 100% living in a monastery that all you do is basically chew on this. Yeah, we go to work, right, every day. We have our day-to-day life, and the problem there is we separate the Dharma from our day-to-day life. And you say, wait, Rakita, I'm busy, I come whenever I come. No, I'm not saying, I'm just, okay, let's have another example. I don't wish you feeling guilty or like, oh, I did not go to this class. It's not about that, okay? I'm talking about the presence of the Dharma, the real Dharma practice in the mind, in your day-to-day life. Because right now, this is full Dharma right here. But as soon as we pack up and say goodbye to each other, okay, and you say, whew, what a day. Leave all the temple behind. I'm going to go home now and make dinner. And then, completely, you're separate. It's like, I only practice Dharma on, 3 times a week. Or when I have time. Yeah? This conception, I need you to really, really identify this as a problem. Because Dharma and your life is supposed to be one. Yeah? So how do we practice our Buddhist practice? Why is it Buddhist? Because what? We are We are the students of Buddha Dharma. Right? So this Buddhism is just a name, so that we can call it something. Okay? So, practicing Buddhism in daily life, this is when we're gonna have to start to chew, okay, our learning, our studying of the Buddha Dharma, and seriously taking bodhicitta seriously. You know, how are we gonna apply this thing? Okay? So, I have actually extracted this from the guidance, okay, from one of the books of the Venerable Thubten Chodron. Okay, and so, and she's just have this precise. She actually pointed out in our day-to-day life, from the moment we wake up all the way to go to bed, it's Dharma. It's like Dharma baby all the time. No wishy-washy, you know. And Dharma meaning the cultivation of bodhicitta, the kindness, to generate kindness and compassion. Okay? So how, right? So we're gonna do these are the daily activities, which is very common to all of us, unless you know you're not human. Okay? So she said here, being a spiritual person means becoming a real human. It's not because like, oh, I'm a spiritual something. I have a different essence, like you're going to a different realm. Like, you know, no. It's actually making you feel the real thing is being spiritual. You're seeing the reality, okay? Because most of the time, we're fantasizing. We're wishing too much and hoping too much. That is fantasy. Okay? So during this day, just today, were you real or were you fantasizing? Susan said, oh my goodness, I don't want to answer this. Of course you're real, right? Well, you know, when you're pretending, that is not real. Did you send a smile that is pretentious? That is fantasy. Or did you snub someone today just because? That's also fantasy. That's not real. So you probably, the moment that you're probably real is when you're alone. And you say, uh-oh, I have a problem. That is real. So we need to really know how to transform our mind. Yeah, this is the really practice here now, because we are full of fantasy. How are we going to transform this fantasy into, you know, taming, to come to reality, you know?